Thanks for joining me on episode 1203 of the Inspired Stewardship Podcast.
Hey, I'm Peyton Garland. I challenge you to invest in yourself, invest in others, develop your influence, and impact the world by using your time, your talent, and your treasures to live out your calling. Having the ability to find the grace to forgive yourself and others is key. And one way to be inspired to do that is to listen to this. The Inspired Stewardship Podcast with my friend, Scott Mater.
The truth is, by doing that, believe it or not, you accomplish more. You actually don't get more done in terms of numbers, but you get more done that's actually the important stuff that you really wanted to get done. You have more meaning in the accomplishments, not just more accomplishments. It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality.
Welcome and thank you for joining us on the Inspired Stewardship Podcast. If you truly desire to become the person who God wants you to be, then you must learn to use your time, your talent, and your treasures for your true calling. In the Inspired Stewardship Podcast, you will learn to invest in yourself, invest in others, and develop your influence so that you can impact the world.
In today's episode about investing in others by stewarding your time, I talk with you about should we do more or do less if we want to have balance in the use of our time. I talk about how we often try to do more in less time instead of recognizing that doing less is actually also a choice. And I talk about why priority is more important for harmony than balance.
As we talk about stewarding your time, wouldn't it be great if you could support this podcast and do it without just taking too long? Turns out you can. All you have to do is use inspiredstewardship.com/Amazon when you're ready to make a purchase via Amazon, and a small commission will come back to support the show just that quick. If you enjoy the show when you are ready to buy from Amazon, just use inspiredstewardship.com/Amazon.
Let's talk about doing more to really get everything done. I think we all have an amazingly long to-do list. We're all bombarded by email and social media posts and TV and all of these various things that are competing for our attention. Some good, some bad, but there's all sorts of things competing for what we need to be spending our time on. And there's always something else. There's always more. You can always add one more thing to your to-do list or to your plate. But here's the truth. Doing more things doesn't make you a better person. It makes you a tired person. It makes you stressed out. Most of the stuff you put on your to-do list that you say, this is what I have to control, a lot of those things are things that aren't really yours to control anyway. The truth is, you've got to start giving yourself some time to breathe, give yourself some margins. You have to recognize that it's not about getting more done. It's about getting the right things done. There's always a choice. You always have the choice to do less. You have the choice to say no. But the truth is, if catching up on all your work, you'd be caught up by now. That's not the way. Just pushing through and doing more is not the way. You have to pay attention to what are the priorities in your life. What is actually most important? And you have to recognize that getting rest, getting relaxation, that's not a reward for getting everything done. That's actually something that you should build in from the beginning. When you're measuring everything in your life by what you get done, then you've never got enough. There's never an end to that. Truth is that there ought to be times in your life where you look up and you have nothing to do. That's a good thing, not a bad thing. But you don't do it by getting to the bottom of your to-do list the way it stands today. You do it by redefining what's on the list in the first place. The truth is, there are great benefits to acknowledging, hey, I can do less. I can cut some things off my list. The truth is, by doing that, believe it or not, you accomplish more. You actually don't get more done in terms of numbers, but you get more done that's actually the important stuff that you really wanted to get done. You have more meaning in the accomplishments, not just more accomplishments. It's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. You also begin to have less anxiety and worry. You begin to recognize that there's things that I just need to let go of. You begin to enjoy life more. And you actually create some times in the margins to do other things, and those no longer become the margins. That becomes the things that you have built into your life. Instead of family time or cooking time or rest and relaxation time being those moments you grab in between, they become the moments, and the other things become the in-between. It allows you to savor the work that you do while you're doing it, to actually enjoy what you're doing. And you do that by curating the task that you do. You look at what you get done in the day and you cut some things off. You begin to call out those things that you don't have to do. You begin to create a day where you can take a breath and consider your day. And you can just focus on the essentials and reduce those things that are coming into your world that you really don't want. This is why it's about priority. It's about not just saying no, it's about saying yes to the most important things. It's about yes to the things that really matter. Not the things that other people tell you matter, not the things that in some sort of way you've said yes to out of guilt or out of fear or out of a sense of obligation. But it's about looking at your life and curating it deliberately to allow into your life those things that are most important. And therefore, those things that you don't put in your life, that's by choice. It's okay. It makes it easier to say no to those things because you've already said yes to the most important things. And that allows us to bring harmony into our life. Not a sense of balance, not a sense of everything being equal, or I'm trading this for that, but instead a sense of, right now might be a busy season, but it's one that I've chosen to have as a busy season. And later on, I'll choose to relax. Or maybe it's right now is a time of relaxation and a time of rejuvenation. But it's by choosing and putting the priorities in place that you feel like you have a sense of control and harmony. And therefore, that priority is being served. Thanks for listening.
Thanks so much for listening to the Inspired Stewardship podcast. As a subscriber and listener, we challenge you to not just sit back and passively listen, but act on what you've heard and find a way to live your calling. If you like this episode on the stewardship of time, be sure to sign up for our Stewardship of Time Tips series by going to inspiredstewardship.com/time or texting 44222 time tips, and that'll get you our best tips on stewarding your time. Until next time, invest your time, your talent, and your treasures. Develop your influence and impact the world.